We're going to be starting our warm-up, stepping out to the right, reaching with the right hand, and then together, and then nice and slow to the left. Here we go. Reach right and in. Left, bending the knees, tucking the hips, squeezing the core the whole time, engaging through that center, building our six-pack right from the get-go. Double time. Take it right and left. Reach, reach. Bending the knees, tucking the hips, everything nice and lifted. 4 and 3, 2, arms are going to reach up to the right diagonal. We're going to pull out and in, reach and in. Squeezing the core, lifting the leg, everything nice and tight. Double time. Up, reach and reach. 4 and 3, 2, other side. Take it slow. Up and in. Use the core to lift your leg, nice and controlled. Double time. Reach and reach for 4 and 3. Feet are wide. Drop the waist. You're going to reach the arms. Up, down, and squeeze. Squeezing through those shoulder blades. Nice and tight. 4, 3, 2. Palms to the back. Nice tight rows. And lower. Reach it up and lower. Bend the knees. Tuck the hips. Squeeze the core. 4 more. 4 and 3, 2, and a 1. Bicep curls. Take it up and down to the side and down. So palms are up and to the front. Lift it up to the front. Everything is bent. Core is nice and squeezed. Hips are tucked forward and under. Front and aside. 2 more times. Take it front, down, and side. Last time. Palms to the front. Pulse it up, 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 and up. Press it out to the corners. Take it. Press, press, press. Elbows tight to your side. Arms come to a box. We're going to pulse up, up, up. No more than an inch either direction. Squeeze. 8 more pulses. 8, 7, 6. Working the tops of those shoulders. 4, 3. Tiny little circles. Trace a dime. Circle, circle. Round, around. 4, 3, 2. Take it in. Circle in. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Reaching one arm out and then the other. Reach it out. Switch, switch. Nice and controlled, nice and tight. Everything squeezes, flexing both directions. 8, 7, 6. Hips are tucked, core is tight. We're going to go to our triceps. So slight hinge at the waist, not quite completely flat. Palms are lift, pinkies up. Palms up, hold. 2, 3, 4, and pinkies. Take it, palms and pinkies. Hips are tucked. Palms up, pinkies up. Squeezing those hands together behind your back. Palms up to the ceiling. Pulse it. 8, 7, 6. Nice and tight, controlled. 4, 3. Pinkies to the ceiling. Pulse it. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Tiny circles. Trace a dime. Circle. 8 and 7, 6. Keep it going. Feel those triceps burning nice and high. Circle the other way. Circle in. In. Hips are tucked. Tummy's tight. 4, 3, 2. Hold it nice and high for 8, 7, 6. A little higher. 4 and 3 and 2. Your arms are done. Hallelujah. Go ahead and put your weights off to the side so they're not in your way. We're going to get down to a nice wide arm push-up position. Hands should be wider than your shoulders, in line with your face. Stacy's going to be on her knees to show you that modification. Kelsey's going to be on her toes. We're going to take it down and up, down and up. Arms are coming nice and out to the sides, nice and strong. Hips are tucked, tummies tight, booties are engaged. Everything's nice and controlled. 2, hold it halfway down for 8, 8, 7, 6. We're going to rock it right to left. Take it right and left, right. As low as you can. Head is in line with your spine. Right and left. 4, 3, 2. Hold it tight again. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to take those hands right in front of your shoulders. Tricep push-ups this time. Elbows squeeze your ribs all the way down, all the way up. 8 times, down and up. And here we go. Take it down and push down, squeezing those ribs the whole time, nice and tight in. Everything's nice and controlled, not letting your back sway. Keep it nice and tight. Last two. Last one. Hold it halfway down for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Right to left. Take it right and left, keeping that head in line with your spine. Don't let it drop. Core is nice and tight. Right and left. Take it right and left. Hold it nice and low. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Woo! Love it. Bring it to your knees. Right arm is across your chest. Drop your shoulders. Show off your collarbone. And take it back behind your head. Lift your chin. If you'd like an extra stretch, lean into the side. And switch arms. Doesn't matter which one you started with, as long as you stretch out both. Drop that shoulder, show off your collarbone. Imagine you have a beautiful necklace. And take it behind your head. Lift your chin. Enjoy the burn. Lean it to the side. And we're going to get into a straight arm plank. Arms are right beneath your shoulders. Straight line, head to heels. You can be facing whatever direction you want. Core is nice and tight. No booties in the air. No sway back. Everything's nice and lined and squeezed. Breathe. Rock it front to back. Little front and back. Take it front and back. Front and back. Your whole body is nice and engaged. Rocking over those arms through the feet. Front and back. 2 and a 1. Hold again. Quick. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to bring it down to a forearm plank. Forearms and toes. Hands are parallel. Straight line, head to heels. Tummy is nice and engaged. Booty is nice and low. Breathe. 4, 3, 2, and 1. You're going to take it to your left arm. Right arm is up in the air, staying on your forearms. Your hips are nice and lifted. Everything's engaged through the side of the core. Keep breathing, keep holding, lifting nice and high. And come on down. We're going to roll it to a backwards plank. On your forearms and your heels, you can bend your knees to help get into it. Lifting the hips, lengthening through, squeezing the core. Glutes are engaged. Everything's working from heel to head. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. Taking it to your right arm this time. Left arm's up in the air. Hips are nice and lifted, engaging through your whole side. Planks are to target our core. Also increase stability. Nice and high. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Back to your forearm plank. Straight line, head to heels. So now we've hit every single position. We're back to our original. Core is engaged. Booty's in line with the spine. We're going to take it front and back. Rock it front and back. Only an inch either direction. Nice and tight, controlled. 4 more times. 4 and a 3. Back. 2 and back. 1. Hold it nice and tight. Quick. 8, 7, 6. We're almost there. And come on out. Give yourself a child's pose. Nice and long. Dropping your head. Lengthening your spine. Arms can reach or come behind you. Whatever feels best for you. You can flip those palms. And we're going to flip it over. We're going to target our core a little bit more. We're going to lay on our backs. Legs are going to be up in the air. Nice 90-degree angle. Then reach those arms for your toes, lifting your shoulders. We're going to do reverse curls, which is targeting those lower abdominal muscles, squeezing it in for the toes to go up. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Not trying to rock your feet towards your hands, just lifting straight up. Hands to feet. Reach, reach. Upper core is pulling in and up. 4, 3, 2. Both at the same time. Up, in. 4, 3, 2. Lengthen it nice and long, keeping your core pulled in. Belly button to your spine. Keep it controlled. And come on down. Nice and long. Give yourself a roll over and a cobra stretch. Get your abs all ooey gooey. And we're going to lay it down. Arms are reaching like Superman. Lifting 2 counts, lowering 2 counts, nice and controlled. Engaging the whole back through the glutes. Here we go. Take it up, even higher, back, down, and down. Make it lift, lift, lower, and lower. Take it up, down, and down. Little up, little little higher, down, and down, 4 more, up, up, down, and down, for 3, up, down, and down, last 2, up, lower, and lower, last 1, lift, down, and down. You're going to put your hands one on top of the other, lift up, slight pressure in your hands to where you're comfortable, lift those legs. The legs are going to go out, in, lift, and lower. Little out, take it in, lift it up, and lower. Engaging through the glutes, working that low back, making it nice and strong. For modification, if this bothers your back, your hands can come in between, underneath your hips, and lower. Take it out, in, lift, and lower. Take it out, in, lift, and lower. Last time. Hold it nice and high, arms reach for those feet. Hold it here. Just lift and lower the legs. Here we go. Take it, lift and lower. Little up and down. Lift, lower, lift, and lower. Last 2. Last 1. Hold it nice and high. 8, 7, 6, even higher. 4 and 3 and 2, and you're done. Child's pose. Breathe, stretch, feel accomplished. Your warm-up is done. Great job, everyone. I hope you're all warm and sweaty and ready to start your class.
All right, let's get started on that first thigh. We're going to be parallel with the feet position here, just underneath our hips, profile to wherever you're going to be holding on to, left or right hand, doesn't matter. Just a gentle touch on the bar, a couple fingers right in front of your body, not completely out to the side, so you can have it nice and stretched and straight. You're going to bend those knees, tuck your hips up to your rib cage here, feeling your belly button lying flat into your spine. Lift those heels up and get even lower here. Then we're going to go down 4 counts and lift 4 counts. Staying nice and low. 2, 3, 4, and lift. 2, 3, 4. Feeling the engagement of your lower glutes here to help you support this well-tucked position. Core is laying nice and flat. Keeping that breath flowing here. 2 more like this. I'm already shaking myself here. Feeling the hips tucked up as far as you can. Down, just pulsing down here. Nice and small, little tiny pulses. It's all about the contraction. The movement is subsequent. We're just trying to find as much musculature in the legs that we can work as possible. Good. 4, 3, and then it's down 4, 2 counts. 1 and 2, and lift and lift. Very nice. Nice and small. Very small. 1-inch range of motion here. Shoulders perfectly vertically over the hips. Core is nice and tight. Very nice. 4 more here. Keeping everything very smooth, like your back is completely flat against a wall here. Very nice leg position here, perfectly parallel. Feet are at their highest releve here. Heels are completely lifted. Now we're going to pulse down here. Down, down. Very nice and small. Keep working here. I know you're burning. 8 more here, and 7. 6 and 5. The more control we can exhibit, the more muscles we are using here. 1 inch down, down, and lift. Last thing we got to do here. Squeezing those thighs, glutes engaging here, even the inner thighs to help you support that ankle lifted position here. Holding down for 8. You can do it here. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Awesome. And there's our first thigh. And on to our second thigh. If you want to give it some variety, you can always switch it up. Put your other hand for the supporting on that bar, that chair, whatever you may have to be supporting yourself. Wide second for this one here. So we're trying to get parallel shins so we can get nice and deep in that burn zone. But it's important to keep those shoulders over your hips. Contract, keeping those hip bones lifted right up to your rib cage here. Nice and flat midsection. Fist is out front here. Good. We're just going to hold it down here for 8, 6 and a 5, 4, 3, pulsing down. Tiny pulses, just as small. Any pulse here. It's just about the contraction of those glutes or those inner thighs, whatever the muscle group we're focusing on. Just squeezing that muscle group. And then the movement just happens here. 4 and 3. Then we're going to pulse down and tuck. Just a tiny down and lift. Trying to press the middle back backwards here, keeping the sternum lifted. Good, making it as small as you can. Perfect flat back. Just maintaining the position you're going to work here. Good, just tucking here, picking it up. Keeping everything lifted like a fish hook. Your back is long, but you're just picking those hip bones up. Exhaling nice and tight. 7, 6, 5. Good. 4, 3. Down an inch, up an inch. Here we go. Down and lift. Pressing the full feet in the ground. Always feeling the glutes. Pulling the knees back here. Very nice. Keeping everything nice and flat. Good. Knee over ankle. Last 2 here. Then we get to lift our ankles up here. They got to get all the way to the highest point. You're still burning. Just pulse down here. Keeping everything lifted here. Always feeling the glutes when you're in wide second to pull those knees back. Keep yourself nice and supported here. Down and tuck. Here we go. Down and under. Very nice. Use that breath. You got to use that exhale to help you get through it here. Just by building that breath in, it's going to make everything a lot more fluid for you. Last 2 here. Then we're just going to tuck nice and low. Exhale. Pushing your lowest point here. You want to find that shake and live in it here. A shaking leg's a changing leg. Very nice. 8, 7, 6, 5. 4 more. 3. Down an inch, up an inch. Last thing we got to do here. Staying focused. Back is nice and straight. Keep working here. Almost there. 4 more. And a 3. Nice flat back. Everything's nice and tucked in. Last one. Very nice. Come on out of that. And you finished your second thigh. All right, let's get started on that last thigh exercise here. We're going to be in a 4th position, but we got to go through first to get there. We're going to grab that ball and begin in our first position. That is heels together, toes apart, just a gentle V. This isn't a ballet class. It's going to be tapered to whatever your body is going to tell you to do here. Knees have to bend directly over your feet and ankles vertically here. That is your first position. You're going to feel the hips tuck all the way up, contracting the abs in. Lift your heels up as far as you can and then press them all the way together. They have to be actively pressing here. Then you put that ball deep underneath your pelvis at the very height. Slide that right leg slightly in front. You're just going to begin by squeezing that ball, fist out in front. Squeeze, squeeze, nice and tight in your lowest point. We're in our forced arch with our feet. That is, we're lifting as high as we can on the very front. Weight is over the first 3 toes here. Good. Squeezing and then pulse down here. Squeeze and down. Nice and small. Keeping that fist out. Makes you feel lighter here. Also keeps you in alignment with your shoulders directly over your hips. Completely using that exhale to press that core in. Very nice. Taking it to a pulse down. Holding on to that ball. Feeling all of the muscles on the inside grip that ball from all angles here. Very nice. Heels are lifted. Keep a squeezing on that ball. Even your lower glutes are getting involved here. Good. Last one. We're going down, up, and squeeze. Squeeze. Down, up, squeeze. Down, up. Feeling that tiny 1-inch range of motion. That is half an inch down, half an inch up. And then we get a nice tight squeeze on that ball. Here we go. Squeeze, hold where you are in that burn zone. Keeping that alignment here. If you need to come out at home, that's perfectly fine. Get right back in it whenever you need to. But make sure that form is perfect. Squeeze, hold. 2, 3, 4. Squeeze, hold. Last 2. Then we're going to slide that right leg back here, ankles together, and take the left leg forward just slightly. Weight is evenly distributed. We're going to squeeze on that ball. Here we go. Squeeze. Engaging on that ball. Squeeze. Squeeze. Nice tight hold on that ball. I know you're burning. Trying to get the other leg evenly working here. Always going to feel a little bit weaker on one side. We got to work them evenly so we can continue to even out that strength here. 4 more and 3. Then 1 squeeze, 1 inch down here. Squeeze and down. Nice and small. Utilizing again that small range of motion. Heels are as far up as you can here. We're trying to work from that forced arch position. Completely lifted. Glutes are contracting to pull the knees back. Just pulsing down. Here we go. Down. Down. Nice and small. Form is key here, so you're always checking yourself out. Try to have a mirror when you're doing this exercise at home so you can check your form head to toe, make sure everything is working right for you here. Good. Down, up, and squeeze now. Down, up, squeeze. Down, up, squeeze. Keeping that breath going here, keeping that sternum lifted so you feel nice and light here. 3 more. Last 2. Squeeze and hold. Last sequence we got to do here. Squeeze, 2, 3, and 4. Squeeze. Keeping nice and lifted. Core is tight. Pressing everything in. Everything's a core exercise. You're completely focused on that core, helping you get through. Quads are going to burn. And you made it through your last thigh exercise. Awesome. Great work. You finished your thigh exercises here, but first we're going to get our legs stretched before we move into our calves. So we're going to face whatever chair or table, whatever you happen to use to support you here. Grab your right ankle here with your right hand and squeeze it into your seat, knees together here. So you got nice long quadricep, feeling them getting stretched in the front of your leg. Bend that bottom leg, then you can give yourself a little bow here, extra stretch, taking that knee backwards with you. Switch it up, make sure you stretch evenly both sides here. Left ankle back with your left hand. Always grab and use that opposite hand for support on that chair, table, whatever you have. Bend that knee, give it a little stretch forward here. Awesome. Moving into the calves here for this exercise, we're going to do first position, then move directly to our parallel, just moving the heels out parallel. Then we're going to take our toes and our heels out maybe a little bit further for our wide second position, slightly outside of our hips here, and then turn the feet parallel for your last parallel position here. So we got first, parallel, wide second, and parallel. Let's go into our first. Starting here with a lift, bending the knees, straightening and lowering. That's the first sequence here. Squeezing everything that is touching, all those leg muscles on the inside here. Feeling the lower glutes, feeling the inner thighs here. Calves are, of course, getting a nice long stretch. Feeling them tightening here. Now the problem with the calves, they feel like they're filling with rocks here, and they're lose a little bit of their mobility. We're trying to push through that here, but safely, making sure your ankles are lifting to a healthy position every time. Over the first 2 toes, you want all of your weight distributed here. Now we're just going to do straight legs lifts here, squeezing up and touching the ankles down to the carpet every time for whatever surface you may be doing these raises on here. 8 more, 7, 6, keeping the core nice and tight, always working for that tucked position, turning parallel. Knees go forward this time. Forward. Straighten the legs in, lower. Ankles touching down. Remember, every time, make sure you're keeping that weight forward here so that you're sliding your shoulders and hips straight down a wall. Good, and we're not trying to rock the weight forward or backward here. That makes it a little bit more difficult here, a little bit more at risk for injury. So we want to stay in control. Try to use just a couple fingertips to support you on the bar to challenge yourself as much as you can, taking it to just the raises, straight leg here. Straight. Good. Ankles touching down, lifting lower, squeezing the full length of that calf, trying to get that ankle all the way lifted right over that second toe every single time. Going to that wide second. Here we go. Lift, bend, straighten, and lower. Feeling the inner thighs working really hard to help you maintain that tucked hip position. Good, keeping that breath flowing, of course, giving you 100 things to think about at the same time here. But there's the challenge. 3 more, almost there, keeping that breath flowing here. Nice, great alignment, shoulders over hips here, feeling that tuck the entire time, legs squeezing. Just the raises here. Feel those inner thighs squeezing like a pair of scissors. Your legs are trying to get closer and closer together, but the floor is in the way, and that's all right. Good. We're using that resistance. 7, 6, 5. Very nice. 4, 3. Last position. Turning it parallel. Lift, bend, straighten, and lower. This is a parallel again, so the knees go forward, but the hips and shoulders, they are sliding directly, vertically down a wall here. Keeping the core nice and tight here, staying on that music. Bend and a straighten and lower. Very nice. Keep that breath of flowing. Weight is straight on top, stacked here. Head, shoulders, hips, all the way down to your ankles here. Then we take it to just the raises. Last thing we got to do. Raise, squeezing, everything. Calves are burning about now here, almost there. 8 more, 7, you're willing, always got to challenge yourself. Try doing it without your hands. You can do it. Last 2 and 1. And we finished our calves, so we're going to stretch them out here, taking that ankle back as far as you can, pressing it into the floor, elongating that leg. You can even press that same hip forward, and then you can bend that knee just a little bit. Be careful with that Achilles tendon, it's a very sensitive area. And we switch it up. Right leg presses, or left leg presses into the floor here. Left hip forward, same hip as leg. Then you could gently bend and try for both legs here, making sure you really have something stable to support yourself on here. Bend those knees just a little, and straighten. And then we can move into stretching our legs. Great, so we started strengthening those thighs and the calves. Now we're going to lengthen the muscles here so we get nice, long, lean, toned muscles. Hands are going to be up above your head, feet out in a parallel position, nice and wide, just hanging the weight forward, taking it to the ground, fingertips and eventually your palms, but you're trying to go for that stretched hamstring. Weight is over the front here, so we're trying not to sit back in our heels here. Very nice. Then we just take that weight a little bit over to the right side so our hips are nice and evenly placed, but we're just stretching a little bit more into that right hamstring. Still feeling a nice straight leg in both legs here. For more of a progression, you can always take that right hand behind your back or up to the sky, as these ladies here are doing for you. And then we can turn our feet completely flat to the side and slide that back leg all the way back until you have a perfect right angle. You want your ankle right underneath your knee here, going for the straightest leg in the back as you can. You can always put that, lift the chest up for more of a challenge here, or take that right arm up to the sky for more of a yoga type stretch. Then we're going to take the knee down, keeping the weight forward. I want you to take your right hand and grab that left ankle. You're going to pull it into your seat, trying to get that ankle to touch your left seat here. Eventually you'll get there. You don't have to be there in one day. You're working through your own life and limitations here. Everybody's got a different life. Everyone's got different experiences. So we're going to take that foot, gently place it back on the ground here, and then you can stretch backward for a hamstring stretch, nice and high. You can always take it to your seat on the floor or on your ankle, whatever you find most comfortable, but you're going for that long hamstring. Very nice. Keeping that nose to your knee, always trying to lengthen the back out as far over as you can. Very nice. Then we gently come out of that stretch here. Right leg slightly in front of the left. You're going to hang that back down that leg here, both legs straight, and pull that left hip forward just a little more here, feeling an even stretch in both hamstrings, primarily the right here. Taking it through the center, wide feet. Once again, might need to slide them out a little more, and then we hang over that left leg a little more. Make sure that weight is directly through the center with your hips here. Awesome, nice straight legs. Weight is again forward here so we're not sinking back. And then we turn our feet toward the side completely, sliding that right leg all the way back this time. Getting that right angle here with the knee. Taking that ankle right underneath that knee, straight leg in the back. Then we can put the knee down, keeping the weight forward. Take that left hand around and back. Grab the left ankle, or right ankle with the left hand, pulling it into your seat. Once again, doesn't have to touch, but that's your goal, as long as you're keeping that foot in line with your shin here. Then we can gently put that foot down and sit backwards for a hamstring stretch, trying to lengthen the back as far over as you can. Very nice. You could always, again, sit on your ankle or on the floor, whatever you're most comfortable, doing the most stretch here for your hamstring. Then we gently come out of that, right leg about a foot and a half or so in front, or the left leg, right, foot and a half in front of the right here, hanging down, feeling that hamstring stretch, pulling the right hip forward so you get a nice even stretch, both hips pointing forward toward the direction you're facing. Then we can turn the feet parallel wide again, bend those knees, pick the core up as you slowly roll vertebrae by vertebrae, stacking everything back up. And then we move into our seat exercises. All right. Alrighty, first seat exercise here. We're going to go to our bridge position, but first we need to grab our ball. And we're just going to place it by our side on the floor here. Whatever you happen to be laying on, your mat, your yoga mat, or your towel, whatever it may be. Your feet are going to be about hips width apart, and you're going to be laying flat, all the way back flat, head resting on the floor here. Feet are pressing by your hips into the floor, and now we take that ball here. We are going to put that ball right in between our thighs, closer to our knees, about between the knees and the mid-thigh. Then you're going to press those feet and hands into the floor. Lift your hips up as high as you can, and from here you begin to squeeze hold on the ball. 4 counts, squeeze hold. So your hips are lifted as high as they'll go. Lower glutes are contracting just to hold you up there, and then we begin squeeze holding on that ball. 4 more like this. 3 more. Just keeping that lifted position. You're working here. Good. Then we squeeze tempo. Squeeze, squeeze. Now this is a different type of squeeze we would do in a thigh exercise here. We're trying to zip the legs up from the back so you really feel your inner hamstrings locking in on that ball and squeezing everything. 4 more. 3. Then we're going to pulse up and squeeze. Here we go. Pulsing up and squeeze and lifting and squeeze. Good. 1/2 an inch higher from your highest point. That's all you're trying to work here. Just by maintaining the position, it's going to be hard, but you got to lock on that ball. It's adding a completely new dimension to this glute exercise. Feeling the lower glutes, hamstrings zipping up nice and tight every time we lock hold on that ball. Last 2. Then we're going to pulse up. Here we go. Pulsing up. Nice tiny lift. Lower glutes engaging. Feeling that squeeze. The squeeze is what we're focusing on. That very low squeeze in the glutes and the hamstrings where they meet. 4, 3. Now we're going to lift the toes off in the ball of the feet so it's just the heels as we squeeze hold on that ball. Squeeze hold. Good. You really feel this a little bit deeper into the hamstrings with the heels digging into the floor. So really accentuate that press with the heels. Very nice. Then we squeeze tempo. Squeezing on the ball. Hips are nice and lifted. Trying to engage the core as much as we can so we're not pushing the hips too far forward and overextending, hyperextending that lower back here. Being very conscious of what you're feeling. Pulsing up and squeeze. Lift and squeeze. Lift and squeeze. Good. Feeling those legs zip up. Right here in the back. Hamstrings engaging. Lower glutes locking nice and tight here. 4 more. And 3. Very good here. Keep the breath flowing. Taking it to the pulse up here. Lift, lift. Use those hands. You got to go to your happy place here. Focusing on what you want to look like here. What you want to be, what you want to achieve for yourself. 4, 3. Drop the toes down. Heels lift up. So we're in that 4 starch and we squeeze hold on that ball here. Squeeze hold. Heels lifted as high as you can here. You might need to play with whether your feet go out an inch or in an inch a little bit further so you're not feeling any stress on the knees. Just squeezing tempo. Squeeze, squeeze, and squeeze. Good. Nice and lifted. Hamstrings working. Glutes working still. They should be burning by now. Focus. Keep your head nice and rested. Pressing those hands down to give you a little help. Pulsing up and squeeze. Lift and squeeze. Lift and squeeze. We're almost there. We made it very far already. Very nice ankle positions here, lifting straight over the first 2 toes here. Good. Last 2. Foot in line with the shin. Pulsing up here. Lift. Lift. Last thing we got to do. Feeling those glutes. They burn. They definitely burn, but you can make it. Keep that ball locked nice and tight, holding on to it. 6 and 5. 4 more. Almost there. 2 and 1, and you made it through your first seat exercise. Great job. Great, so we finished our first seat exercise here. Now we're moving into the second one. We're going to use the yellow bands for this one here. So we're going to put that yellow band on, both loops above the knees like a mini skirt here, just slightly above the knees. And then we're going to lay on our side here, outstretching that bottom arm so we can either lay on it or you can support your head with it, doesn't matter. The most important part is to take this outside arm and press it down into the floor. So we got our back completely flat to our mat or towel or whatever we are on. You might need a little bit of a towel here just to support the hip if you're on a harder surface here. So you could bend both legs or just the top leg, but that one has to be bent. So we can pulse it up here from your burn zone, lifting 1 inch higher. Lift, lift. Good. You should really feel this in the outside of that glute. It's going to burn. It's going to feel different than maybe anything you've ever felt before here. So we got to make it nice and tiny so we can control it and burn it healthily here. 3, 2, 1 inch up and to the shoulder here. Lifting up and to the shoulder. 1 inch up, 1 inch to the shoulder. Maintaining that very tiny range here and using that outside arm on top to be pressing down, keeping the core nice and tight. Last 2. Then we just make to the shoulder, pulsing nice and tiny, keeping that range of motion half an inch here. It's very small, just to maintain it. It's hard work here, just to maintain the core working the entire time in the correct area of that glute. Last 2, let's circle here, to the left, around, making those tiny circles here. 4, 3, 2, 8 the other way here, and 8, 7, almost there. We can do it. Then we're going to extend that heel out straight here. So feel like you're pressing on something and lift that leg nice and straight. Got to use that bottom leg here. You got to use that bottom leg. Press them away from each other heel. Feeling the heels pressing out towards something. 3, 1 inch up to the shoulder. Here we go. Lift and shoulder. Making it nice and tiny. Supporting yourself with that top arm. Pressing into the ground. Core is flat. And 3. And 2. Then we just take it to the shoulder, nice and small. Keeping that breath flowing. I know you're burning here. We're trying to make it through here all the way. Almost there. 4, 3, 2 little circles outside here, squeezing that glute nice and tight to maintain tiny circles the size of a dime or less here. 8 the other way. And we are finished with this side. Almost there. 4 more. And 3, 2, and 1. Awesome job. Great, so we're moving on to the other side of this second seat exercise here. So now we slide to the other end of our mat or towel, and then we're going to lay down nice and flat. Make sure your back is completely flat and parallel to whatever wall is behind you here. And then you can have those legs straight out in front, making a 90-degree angle with the knees right in front of your hips here. Bend both legs or just the top leg and lift it up from your burn zone, pulsing it down. Make sure that hand is pressing into the floor. Here we go, pulsing up. Lift, lift, very nice here. Again, you can be resting on the arm or you can be supporting here, doesn't matter. But we are using that top hand hard, fingers toward the chest, pressing it into the floor. 4 more here, 4 and 3. Then we go 1 inch up, 1 inch to the shoulder. Nice and small. Squeezing, making that range of motion tiny so we can maintain it and keep it going through the exercise here. And 3. And 2 more here. Then we just take it to the shoulder, just a little hover, inch closer to the shoulder, making it small, half an inch or less here. Working on that band. It's going to be tough for that outer glute here. Even on the other side, that second side is always going to feel a little bit weaker. It's because it's been supporting the other side here. Little circles around. And 7, 6, and 5. Very tiny dime-sized circles here. 8 the other way. Here we go. 8, 7, 6. Squeezing tight. Press it down. Use that hand. 2, and straighten that leg. Heel out, and we pulse it up. Feel the leg extending, making it tiny here. It's okay if that leg is barely off the other leg. It's okay. You're just trying to use that gravity. Gravity is enough here. Good, especially with that straight leg. 3, 1 inch up, 1 inch to the shoulder. Lift and a shoulder. Good. Extending that heel out nice and straight. Feeling that hamstring work nice and long. Back of the leg engaging to give you that extra support. And a 3. Shoulder and 2. And then we take it to the shoulder. Nice and tiny. Make it small so we can maintain it. Keep that breath flowing. Build that breath in. So it helps you get through that exercise. 8, 7, 6. Ooh, everything's tightening up here. I know you're burning. Little circles. You can make it here. Little circles. 8, 7, 6. Almost there. Keep it going. Staying focused on the goal. 8 more. You're almost there. 8 the other way. And 7, 6, and 5. Almost there. You can do it. Last 2. And you made it through your second seat exercise. Great job. Awesome job. We're moving into our last seat exercise here. So we're going to be facing our chair or our bar, table, whatever we are using for support here. Arms are going to be nice and stretched out. about torso length away from that support system there. You're going to get your weight, bend your torso over here, feet in first position. Tuck your hips and bend your knees and extend that right leg behind you nice and straight. The back of the knee faces the ceiling and we pulse up from here. So the arms are nice and bent to give you a nice stable support. We call this your push-up position here to support yourself. Good. Pulsing up here for 8, 7. It's all about the contractions. We're feeling that hamstring in the glute here. Good. 1 inch up and then a midline squeeze. Lift and squeeze in. Lift and in. So the ankle is trying to travel inward to the body and cross the spine. So you're feeling the lower glute working very deep down toward that diagonal. Good. Just squeezing it in. Here we go. Squeezing in. In. So if I press that ankle away, it is pressing toward your center line. Squeezing it in. Very nice. Feeling that lower glute contraction here. 4 more. And 3. Little circles. Let's make them here. 8, 7, 6, 5. Good. Again, size of a dime here. Last 2. And other way. Here we go. 8 more. 7, 6, 5. Nice control here. Hips completely facing forward. Then we take it up and hold. 2, 3, and 4. Squeeze, hold. Very nice. So you're trying to elongate everything back here. Hamstring, back of the knee, the lower glute, squeezing tight. Last 2, and then we turn the foot out here and take it to the diagonal. Hips are still facing forward, and we pulse up. You're feeling it a little more in that side glute. We got some side glute work. We're taking that out toward the diagonal, not so behind the spine for this one here. 8 more, 7, 6. So try to keep those hips facing completely toward your support here. Good. 4, 3. Squeezing up and a midline squeeze here. Lift and in a little bit. Remember, this is all about the contraction, especially this position. The leg will automatically move, but you want to feel that lower glute contract to pull it in. Just a ½ inch here. So we never leave that whole diagonal section that we're reaching towards here. Squeezing it in midline squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Good. Make sure you never lose touch with those abs pressing in toward your spine. Hips are lifted. Nice tuck position here. Last 4, 3. Little circles. Here we go. Tiny circles. Making it the size of a dime here. 4, 3. Still elongating that leg. 8 the other way here. 8, 7, 6. Good. Keep it tight. Bottom leg is working. You might feel this in the bottom leg a little more here. Good. Squeeze up and hold here. Up and hold. Breathing here. You want to find that shake. Find that point where you can contract as much muscle as you can in that glute and hamstring to where that leg starts to shake. Last 1, and you made it through that side. We got to switch sides here, so back to the first position. You're going to bend those knees, keep those arms bent, hips tucked, and take the left leg back this time. Knee faces the ground here, or the back of the knee faces the ceiling, pulsing up. Lift, lift. Feeling that leg, lower glute, hamstring, back of the leg engaging here. You should really feel that hamstring engage to get that leg straight. Feeling the back of the knee. Then we take it up and in, lifting and in. Squeezing and squeeze it in. Good. That contraction is what moves that leg here. Everything else is complementary. The aesthetic movement of that leg, it's just because the contraction is happening. Good. 4 more like this. Nice and tiny here. That's all you need just to work that correct body alignment, and that muscle will work for you here. Let's squeeze it in. Squeeze, squeeze. That crease is working hard here. Nice and low. Feeling that ankle press in toward the spine. 6 and 5. 4 more. Elongate that leg. Now we make those circles here. 8, 7, 6, nice and tiny. Remember, don't lose touch with those abs. Pulling them in. 2, 8 the other way here. Here we go. 8, 7. Arms stay bent. Core is contracting. 4, 3. We have those lift and holds now. Tiny lift. You want to squeeze that leg so tight that you find a little shake in it here. Live in that shake here. You can do it. 4 more. And a 3. Very nice. 2 more, then we take it to the diagonal here. We flex that foot, turn it out, take it out toward the spine, outside the spine, pulsing up here. Feeling the outer glute burning now. Heel is not behind the spine like it was before here. Working that diagonal so we can really feel that side glute burning. Check in with your hips. Are they lifted and are they facing that wall you're working? Last two. Let's take it up and then to the midline. Squeeze. Lift and 1 inch in. Squeezing. That movement, remember, is subsequent. It's only happening because you're feeling that contraction. Pull that muscle and pull the leg. Last one. Let's squeeze it in. Midline. Squeeze. Squeeze. Just slightly glides inward. 1/2 inch to 1 inch here. Very tiny here. Outer glute burning very low. Good. 4, 3, 2. Little circles here with the heel. 8, 7, 6. Make it tiny. Core is working here, so you're keeping this completely stressed. 3, 8 more the other way. 7, 6. No stress on the spine whatsoever because the core is engaging. Good. Lift and hold. Last thing we got here. Lift, hold. Lift. Good. Feeling the contraction in the outer glutes. Almost there. Final 4. Keep that bottom leg bent here. Last 2. And 1. Awesome. Shake it out here. Now we're going to stretch those glutes out real quick. So you're facing that. We're going to grab that right ankle over your left just to stretch it out. Sitting down. Feeling that glute stretch out here. Make sure you got something stable to really hold on to here. More of like a table, less of a chair. Then we switch it up here. Left ankle over the right knee, and you just stretch it out. Very nice. Coming out of that calmly and carefully. Moving into our core. Alright, we're moving into our first core exercise here, so you're going to need some flat wall space for yourself here, wherever you may be doing it, home office, wherever it may be. We're going to take our head, shoulders, and down to our hips completely flat against that wall. So now we're moving down to the floor here, sitting on our seat here. Remember again, head, shoulders, down to your hips, completely flat against the wall here, and they stay flat the entire exercise. And we're marking the very lowermost portion of our core, those bottom 2 abs here, between the hip bones. Draw a line below the belly button. As long as you're feeling that very lowest part of your core contracting inward toward your spine with an exhale, then you're working here. If you need to eliminate all the other extra stuff we do with the legs, that's perfectly fine. Just exhale, use that deep breath to help you contract the abs. So now we're going to be in butterfly with the feet. Our ankles and toes are together, about a foot, maybe some change away from the pelvis. Pressing those hands into the floor. You're going to exhale and tuck the hips up to the rib cage, pressing the belly button nice and flat. Nice sharp breath here. You may not be able to hear them here, but I want you to hear yourself breathing so you know that you're working that core by pressing everything in with that contraction. 4, 3, then we're going to add that right leg, just hangs off the pelvis. You're going to feel a little bit of the inner thigh working, but this is mainly for your core here. You want to feel like it's just attached to your pelvis and you're pressing everything in. Just adds a little bit more weight. Last 2, both feet flat. Again, pressing them together to add a little bit extra oomph in that tuck. You may not be able to go very far because your hips are flat against the wall. It's kind of hard to see here, but you want this lifting to be happening and that you're not sinking down to do so. 4 more, and 3. Then we do that other leg here. Here we go. Lifting it up. Exhaling, tiny lift. It may not even come off the ground for you. That's okay. It's alright. We're just trying to make sure the core is heavily involved here. When it stops being involved, cut all the extra stuff out here. 4 more here. 4, 3. Then we go both feet flat. Again, pressing them together. Exhaling. Use that big breath here. Make sure we're still working with the core, pressing it nice and flat. Use the floor here. Feel your hands pressing into the floor every time. 8, 7, 6. Use that sharp exhale, keeping the back flat. Then we try alternating, doing the left, right, lifting, exhaling, feeling everything pressing in. Use that breath here. 8, 7, 6, and 5. 4 more. 3, 2, just back to this plain tuck, exhaling, pressing the feet together. Almost there. 4, 3, then just a deep tuck and hold. Use that exhale. And you completed your first core exercise. Very nice. Okay, we're moving into the second core exercise here. Now from our flat back, we're just going to take our hips about 6 to 8 inches, slide them away from the wall so you're sitting a little bit lower here. Shoulders are the only thing pressing against the wall. You're in your C-curve position. Abs are pressing nice and flat. Hips are tucked in their position here. Press the hands into the floor, and we're just going to press the feet. Exhale and tuck. Lift those hips up to the ribcage. It's really important that you're not sinking down to make this happen. You're staying lifted to keep the hips lifting up, pressing flat. 8, 7, 6, and 5. Very small tucks here. Just add that right leg as a little complement. Exhaling, tucking, everything nice and flat. It's just added weight here, that's all. It's hanging off our pelvis, and we're trying to roll the hip bones backwards here, so we're feeling it all in the core and barely in the legs. 4 more here. 4 and 3, both feet flat, and we tuck again. Center, pressing the feet down, using them, helping you lift those hip bones up. Remember, try not to sink at all, just lifting everything up, pressing everything flat here. 8 more here, very good. 8, 7, keeping that breath flowing, keeping the motion, lifting. Then we add that left leg here, lift it, exhaling. It's just hanging off the pelvis, that's all here. Adds a little bit more weight to your contraction. 7, 6, 5, 4 more. 3, we go both feet flat again. Here we go, pressing feet into the floor, feeling that tuck position. Remember, if you add all the leg stuff and it doesn't do anything for your core, then you want to just forget about it. Keep pressing the feet into the floor until you can get a better grasp on that tuck here. Very nice. 8, 7, 6, keeping that work happening in the core. 3, let's alternate now. Here we go. Lift and lift. Exhaling, doing all the work from your core here. Making those tiny lifts work for your core. 7, 6, and 5. Very nice. 3, let's try both. Here we go. 8, 7, 6. Nice tiny lifts from your highest point. Last 2, let's hold it in for 8. Here we go. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Awesome. You made it through your second core exercise. Very nice. All right, we're moving into the third core exercise here. Nearing that end, we're going to lay flat on our mats or our carpet or towel, whatever you have, so you got a little support for your back here. Laying flat, you're going to need your ball, which is by your side for this core exercise. You're going to need to put it right underneath your seat here, all the way down so it's touching your tailbone and it's behind your pelvis here, so you can balance your hips on it. Hands are pressed out by your sides. Nice and low by the hips. You're going to take the knees into the chest. They go in and extend out. In and out nice and long while you're trying to keep everything flat here. That's the most important part of this core exercise. While you're on that ball, you're trying to keep everything flat. Last 2. Then we extend the right leg up, left leg out, right leg up. And then we switch, trying to go for the longest, straightest legs that you can. Remember, the further you get those legs away from each other, the more your core is going to be working to stabilize. Last one with this leg, then we switch tempo here, and switch, stay in control, nice and slow. Make it continuous here. Really challenging yourself to keep that flat core and keep your balance on that ball at the same time. 4 more. 3, both toes up, reverse curls. Here we go. Lift the pelvis, just a tiny lift here. You've got to make it this tiny, almost not noticeable at all, because if you're adding anything more to it, you're going to be using that momentum and you're not going to be getting enough out of it here. Last 2, let's keep the right leg up, lower the left leg, and keep that reverse curl going, trying to press that right toe toward the ceiling just a little bit. Have that left leg extending out, nice and straight. Keep working here. 4 more, nice and tiny. Switch it up. Here we go. Lift and lift. Exhaling, using that core, trying to make it nice and flat. Don't forget about those hands. They're there for support. Use that breath. 7, 6, 5. Good. 4, 3, take both legs up here and extend them down to your lowest point here, keeping that core engaged. And then we crisscross the legs, right over left, left over right. Good. 4 more. And 3, 2, and slowly lower those legs with control. And you made it through that third core exercise. Very nice. Fantastic. You finally arrived at your final core exercise here. We're sitting on our mats still. We're going to need that ball once again. It's going to go below our tailbone here. So we take it back behind us. Press it down low, deep. You should feel your very bottom vertebrae of that tailbone pressing onto it. So you want to even sit back a ½ an inch more onto it so you can feel the rubber underneath your seat pressing together like a teardrop shape you've made with it. The legs extend out in front of you. Arms are pressing out nice and straight forward. Sternum lifted in your C-curve, little back and little up. Here we go. Back and lift. Exhaling, pressing that core flat as you can on that ball. You're fighting that ball the entire time with your belly button. Good. 3 more. Last 2, making it tiny with that still lifted sternum. Let's pulse back here. Back and back. Fighting that ball, keeping everything nice and tight, drawn tight like the skin of a drum all the way around your midsection here. Very nice. Last 4, 3. Let's twist to the right. Here we go. Twist, twist, twist. Exhaling, using that sternum lifted position, twisting that core, feeling the obliques working from your left to right, all the way around. Tiny contractions. 3 more. Continuing to pulse back again. Here we go. Pulse, pulse. Working that lowest range here you can on that ball. Exhaling. 8, 7, and 6, 5. Good. 4, 3, 2. Let's twist to the right, left here. Left, left. Using that breath. Exhaling. Twisting those shoulders. Make sure you're really using that back shoulder, whatever it may be, whatever side, you're really using it to find that full rotation. 4 more. 3. Let's pulse back one last time here. Pulse. Pulse. Feeling that core work. You got to be working that core. You don't feel this in your back whatsoever here. Legs extending, pressing into the floor. 7, 6, almost there. 4 more. 3, then we can take that ball out and lay flat now. Spine is long on the floor, feet are going to be flat, knees are lifted, ball reaching, lift over those knees, pulsing up. This is simply about pressing the middle back down, just a simple crunch. Press that middle back down, lift the shoulders off here. 8 more. 8, 7, tiny lifts, keeping that chin to chest to protect the neck. Last 2, and we lift and hold 4 counts. Lift, hold, 2, 3, and 4. Just about pressing the middle back down. Don't have to really go much higher than that to find that full core work. Pressing everything tight, again, like the skin of a drum, nice and tight. Last 2, almost there. Final hold, and lay out long. And you made it through your final core exercise and your complete bar revolution workout here. We're going to move into our final stretches. Awesome job. You made it through your workout. Now we're moving into our final stretches here so we did the strengthening part. Now we're going to lengthen the body, cool ourselves down here, beginning with our feet pressing together in this butterfly position. Back is long, and you're just going to reach the back forward nice and flat, as far forward as you can here, and grabbing the ankles, not the feet for this one here. So we can use those elbows to press our knees down, get an extra stretch in the side of our glutes here. Very nice. And we take the right leg out, keep that left leg in. We're just going to stretch everything down that torso, long, feeling the hamstring, lengthening. Very nice. Back of the knee is trying to work its way closer to the mat, and that happens by the contraction of that hamstring. Reaching that heel out towards something here. Very nice. And we switch it up. Taking that other leg out. And bring it in. Turn the torso, stretch it out long. Always going for the flattest back that you can muster here. Flat back is more important than trying to get down toward the leg here. We're not trying to curl the back at all. Lengthening out. Using those deep breaths, continuing to move here, pulsing toward the leg. We never stop moving through these stretches here. Now we can extend our legs nice and long, both of them out toward the diagonals here in our straddle position. Hands go up, and you're just going to reach the flat back forward as far as you can. And wherever you may stop, just let those hands slowly make their way down to the floor here. And we're continuing to extend that flat back forward. Feeling that the knees are pointing toward the ceiling the entire time here. Pointed or flexed with the feet, doesn't matter. And then we extend out, crawl the fingers over to your right leg here, reaching out long, but you're still feeling that opposite leg has a lot of tension pressing into the floor here, so both sit bones remain flat on the floor here, reaching out long with both legs. Then we can take the left arm up and over, reaching it over that right leg here, stretching long. You can open the shoulder slightly toward the back here, and then we can go down the leg once again, nice and flat with the back. And we crawl out, reaching with the fingertips, staying low, long back over to the other side here. Feeling that the right leg has activity here, still pressing both seat bones onto the ground here, nice and flat. No daylight should be able to be seen underneath your seat. And then we can take that right arm up and over, reaching the chest toward the front here. And you can take the shoulder open just slightly. And going back down toward the leg with the torso long back. Very nice. And we crawl out back toward the center here. Great, now we can pull the core up here, rolling and stacking the vertebrae up one at a time, nice and slow. And we calmly shake those legs together here until they all the way together. And we take that right over left here. We got to go our back as flat as we can. Bottom leg could be straight or bent, doesn't matter. And we twist over that right shoulder, looking behind at the back wall, feeling that stretch in the outside of that glute here. In this stretch, back is tall, using that breath. Nice deep inhale and exhale. Then we take that foot that's over the top here, we take it behind and close to our seat, as close as we can with that ankle, as close to the seat as we can, to press the hips forward. And then you can eventually work your way toward a laying down position, but make sure that knee stays on the ground with both sit bones as we stretch back. You don't even have to be down on the laying down position completely flat to feel the stretch. If you just feel it pressing the hips forward, it's perfectly fine. Then we calmly come out of that stretch there, being careful what you're feeling on the inner knee of that right leg. And now we take the leftover right here. And that right elbow on the outside of that left leg, twisting over that left shoulder. Looking at the back wall. Nice long back, feeling the outside of that glute stretching. And then we can take that foot that's crossed over the front. Take it around back, ankle as close to the seat as you can, and press those hips forward. Feel the quadricep in the hip flexor lengthening here, nice and long, using that breath to relax the body, release that tension. Very nice. Then we slowly make our way out of that stretch here and take it 2 legs forward so we can face profile. Reach with the longest back that you got. Extend out over the front of those toes here, but try to relax the shoulders as you go. Longest back that you can. This stretch never ends. Really, none of the stretches here never end. They always have another inch or two, another half inch, a centimeter even, that you can lengthen out that back over those legs, or find a little bit more space to move into with your body here. Good, now we slowly roll it back up, stacking the spine here. Great, now we keep that core tight as we roll up, stack the vertebrae again, nice and slowly, bringing the spine up long. And then you can slowly, with control, lay back down onto your comfortable mat or towel, wherever you may be laying here. Just a resting position for yourself that you find most progressive here for yourself here. You can have your feet flat on the floor, extended out long, palms up, down, doesn't matter. Just breathing in, centering yourself here, finding any areas of tension from head to toe, starting with our head neck and shoulders area, releasing any tension. Down and back with the shoulders into the mat, into the floor. Just let that tension melt away here. Shoulders down to the fingertips, releasing all of that tension in our arm, letting it go into the mat, into the floor. Deep exhales, deep inhales. Shoulders down to your hips, releasing everything in the torso and the rib cage all the way around. Back muscles included all the way up to the top of your shoulders here. Releasing everything flat into the floor. And we go hips down to your knees, all the way around the thigh. All of the muscles, releasing any tension there. Maybe your glutes are tight. Breathe into that specific muscle group. Use that breath. With that deep inhale and that deep exhale, you can find a little bit restoration here just by thinking about it. Calves and the soleus here, the arch of the feet and the toes here. We're just loosening the lower leg now, letting it go into the mat. Just a couple of deep breaths here for yourself to check in. Rejuvenate not just your body here, not just your physical body here, but your mind and your spirit. Focusing into the positive. Focusing into what we do like about ourselves, what makes us unique as individuals. Because there is no two of us that are alike here. Everybody has their own strengths and their own unique attributes. Focus into yourself here. What makes you special? What makes you unique? And then we can roll into your right or left side, fetal position, either way. Slowly bringing that awareness back to our body here. Still breathing in nice and deep all the way to the very bottom of the torso. Releasing that exhale all the way out. Rolling into our child's pose now. The feet can be wide. The knees can be apart here to stretch the inner thighs, or you can put them together to stretch the back out long, whatever you choose for yourself here. Any last bit of tension, worry, anything that you want to let go here, this is your chance just to let it roll back, roll out down your back here, down your shoulders, and out your fingertips onto the floor. Because when you bring it back up to standing, you don't want to carry that extra burden with you. Let it go down into the floor here. Now let's tuck our toes up underneath us, pressing both feet into the floor, and you're going to take those hips toward the sky on your own time. So you got long stretched hamstrings, final hang here, chin to chest. Last chance to leave anything here on the floor that you don't want to bring with you. And we bend those knees, squeeze the core and the glutes as you gently roll up vertebrae by vertebrae, not too fast, so you don't give yourself a head rush. Finish with a shoulder roll back, deep breath in, and you made it through your bar workout. Fantastic job. Thank you so much for trusting us with your mind and spirit. Have a great day.